dusk. Welcome to Realm of the Sacred Roots. I wanted to talk to you guys today about what's going on. I made a video previously titled The Death Angel Draws Near, and to mark your home, your loved ones, and things like that, referring to the virus and what's happening. Well, I named this video Batten Down the Hatches, which is fitting considering my prior military history, but also with what's going on in the world. And I wanted to talk about it today because I've been getting lots of emails, people concerned, phone calls from friends, family, and others about what's happening. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to do another video. I was really trying to keep these videos quite spiritual, but I realized as a spiritual advisor, I can't. I can speak to you on a spiritual level, but if I don't address some of the physical things, I feel like I'm not doing anyone any favors. I feel like I need to discuss things that are very real, that are happening to all of us today. So my intentions are for this video, Batten Down the Hatches, is it's time. It's time. And I want you, if you can listen to this whole video, to, I call it fall under the spirit that I'm working with. When I used to go to church and listen to prophetic speakers, I would fall under the spirit that they were operating in, and I was able to then assume some of those gifts. I was able to assume some of those properties and then carry it on in my life. And this is what my intention is for this video, for you to hear what I'm saying and then operate underneath or within the same spirit that I'm speaking in, or something similar to, if that makes any sense. This is very important because I feel like it's on almost a life or death type of platform that we're on right now. People are nervous, people are fearful, people are paralyzed, was actually the word that I heard tonight, which is actually what prompted me to do this video, believe it or not. And people have anxiety about what's happening. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I want to be very real with you today. And I'm a chameleon. Other than just being spiritually a shapeshifter, but I am a chameleon. You can put me in almost any environment and I will thrive. And this is just me being very real with you today and very physical. Let's just get down to if you're sitting right across from me and we're talking one-on-one, right? This is how I would talk to you. I am a chameleon. No matter what environment I'm put in, I will survive. I will find a way to make it. No matter what. It doesn't matter what it is. You can put me on the streets and I will find a way to figure it out and make it. And not just figure out and make it, but I will thrive. I'll get out of that situation and then and move on from there. So with this in mind, there was a saying I would hear in the military, semper gumby, which is like always flexible, always able to move, always flexible, go with it. Whatever comes up, go with it. Adapt or die was another phrase I heard. I believe that came from General Mattis. I want to say that came from Mad Dog, but it was adapt or die. And when I heard it, I was like, wow, hey, I really like that. I like that. You have to do that. You have to adapt or die. So I want to give you the premise on which I am working on a physical level. This is my mindset. It's extremely strong. It's extremely I want to use the word aggressive, but I don't think that's quite the right word. But it is a will to live. It is a will to survive, and I will figure this out. I could be in the house, and if I see a bug, I might scream and go, "Oh crap!" Da 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 da. There's a bug in the house. But if my mindset is on hunting, if my mindset is on stalking, then I can put on my gear. I can head out to those woods out there and I can low crawl with snakes all around me with a rifle on my back, and I would be just fine because my mind literally switches literally switches off and on, and it goes into this different gear. And now I'm in survival mode and I can do this. And I just block everything else out and I'm on my mission. That is the determination. That is what I want you to feel. I want you to put on that mindset for what we're going into. I titled it Batten Down the Hatches because I was in the Navy. And that's what would happen when we'd hit a bad storm. I was on a carrier, which, as you know, is one of the largest warships. It, when we had a storm, we would have to batten down the hatches. We would have to close each of them and stay inside. No one was allowed outside on the deck or on the flight deck because the waves that hit us on this one storm were over 100 feet and they were literally coming over the flight deck. So you can imagine we had to lock ourselves in. We'd have to tie things down. We had chairs to tie down and things like that. We had to get ready. There's a storm coming. The storm is here and the water is literally going over the flight deck, which was 57. What was that? Was it 57? Well, anyways, it was tall as heck, but it was, and I'll come up with it. It was 57 feet. I couldn't think of that. 57 feet tall. That's pretty tall. And then if you imagine 100-foot waves just literally going above that, that is just insane. So we had to prepare. This is what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to put on this mindset, whether you have to get into an actress or actor mindset, whatever you need to channel, pull. What did you have member of the family that was military, police officer, law enforcement, firefighter? Put that mindset on and fight and fight. Don't be anxious. There's no reason to be anxious. You need to prepare. And today I'm putting on my prepper hat. I'm putting on my physical, let's talk with each other as if you were a friend of mine sitting right there and I'm talking to you. This is how I talk to my friends and they know that. Get yourself ready. I hate to be the one that's the one running around town screaming to prepare yourself because we don't know where this is going to go. But we do know by looking at the other countries, China, Italy, Iran. If you look at what's happening in these other countries, then you know that we're in for something. We don't know if they're going to actually lock us down right now. We don't know that. I'm assuming that's what's happening, but I always assume the worst. That way I can what? You know what I mean? You pray for the best, but you hope that nothing like this will ever hit us, but we have to prepare for the worst. That's just what we have to do. So make sure that your mindset is like that. This is what's important. Anyways, when we would lock down the hatches, we would tie all the rolling chairs down. I was in charge of one of my collateral duties was EAP, Emergency Action Plan. So I would have to go through, here's what we'd have to do if we sink. We'd have to destroy all of this material that we wouldn't want falling into the hands of the enemy, right? So I'd have this plan in place and I'd go through and I would do this plan with everyone in this one area that I was responsible for. And I'd say, okay, what's your job? What's your job? When this happens, what do you do? And everyone had a plan. So that way, when something happened, we all were in lockstep. We have to work together. If you have a family at home, have different things that everyone does. Keep everyone busy. Everyone should have a job to do. Okay? But we need to prepare. You have to prepare because this way, it will lower your anxiety because you know you can stay home and not be in the masses when everyone hits the streets. Okay, so that's what's important right now. Make sure you have the minimal things, even if it's just for a couple weeks, a few weeks. Of course, I would plan for a lot longer, but even if you just have something, a little extra water, some canned foods, from kidney beans to tuna to rice, noodles, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese. You can get some frozen foods, especially if you have a separate freezer. You can definitely pack that up. If you don't want to go that route, again, you can get the soups, you can get the ramen noodles, anything that can sustain you. There's sardines, there's tuna. um, there are lots of things you can get that aren't expensive that you can get at the dollar store. And people think about the different stores. Okay, you have Walmart, you have Publix, Winn-Dixie, you have Dollar Store, Family Dollar, Dollar General. You save a lot depending on where you guys are located at. There are plenty of different places to go try things and see what you can get. Okay, don't freak out if there's no toilet paper. You can then go get the wipes. You just look at alternatives to what you can't find. It doesn't mean you're going overboard. Worst case, I mean, you're buying food that you're going to eat anyways in the future, right? If you're buying foods that you're going to eat anyways, you're just shopping ahead of time. Look at it that way. But I would rather you be prepared and safe at home for a couple of weeks if there is a lockdown and have enough food than have to go out during a lockdown where stores could be crowded. It's possible, or closed for that matter. So I just want you to have something at home that is reasonable, that you can survive off of, you and your family, not have to go out. That's what's important right now. People are worried about schools closing down. What are we going to do with the kids? Nurseries closing down. What do we do with the babies? If you have to go to work or some of your jobs are telling you to stay home, there are a lot of things that you have to come up with, that you have to figure out. You have to think of these things. Hopefully your job's reimbursing you. Hopefully your jobs give you some time where you don't have to take your own vacation time, but you can go home and take care of your business if they're understanding and still pay you. I know that's the dream. I don't know how often that will happen, but hopefully your job is considering your safety and they don't have you guys all cramped together in little cubicles, 6 feet away and following all the basic standards. I'm hoping is what they're doing. So I know those things um, uh, can come to your mind and make you worry, make you think about these things. Most people, like the majority of you listening to this right now, will be fine. Even if you got the virus, you'll be fine, right? Most of you won't, but if you do, it's just something. You stay home for 14 days. Most people make it through just fine. It's the ones that are over a certain age, pre-existing conditions. You guys should be home already, locked down anyways. Maybe you can have someone go shop for you if you pay them a couple extra dollars, where you don't have to go into the store, but someone might do it for you. These are just different options to look at. You can make your food, just get creative and make it spicy and flavorful. We can do this. Just put your mindset on and don't freak out. Just stay calm and get what you need. Don't forget your toothpaste and whatever else you need, laundry soap, detergent, and then make it home, and stay home if you can. Try to stay home and self isolate yourself. Like I said, most of you will be okay, but there will always be casualties. We already have thousands dead. There will always be casualties. I don't think it will be any of us. I just don't feel that. But when I was on the ship, sometimes you'll have a wrong place at the wrong time. There was a gentleman, it was a sailor on the flight deck, and when the aircraft went to land, it missed the first wire, and the second wire, it basically snapped the second wire, and one of the wire, if you know how, I guess I'm talking to you like you know what I'm talking about, but on the flight deck where the aircraft come in to land when we do flight ops, and the aircraft came in to land on the flight deck, and when it does, the tail hook comes down from the aircraft and it catches these wires that go across the flight deck to stop the plane, from going off the side of the ship when it lands. So the first wire missed. The second one, it snapped in half, and that wire is thick and it's heavy. And anyways, it snapped the wire and it cut one of the sailors right in half. So sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Um, that was just, I remember that when that happened, I was on board when that happened. And we had to put him into the freezer down below. He rode with us actually for a while until we could get him to a spot to take him off. But sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Be wise. Use discernment. And I use that example for that. Some people, even though I believe we're all here in this moment in time because we were created for this moment in time, I believe that um, there's a saying that God won't give us more than we can handle, right? So I believe if you're here right now, no matter what you're going through, that was part of the plan. It's part of the plan. And as hard as it may seem, and as difficult as it may seem right now, and sometimes you can't see your way out, you would not have been given that assignment if you weren't able to handle it. I really, truly believe that. Like to my core, I believe that. So I'm just saying that to say some people still won't make it through this test because I believe this is like one of those tests on earth. And we had a sailor down in the laundry room and he ended up hanging himself down there. It was down below the decks. And he was going through family issues and problems and things like that. Some people won't make it through. They'll give up in the middle of it. And that's what I want to encourage you not to do. Do not give up in the middle of this. It seems rough. It seems hard. We have anxiety. Some of us are going to school. Some of us are trying to figure out work, figuring out the kids, what to do with the hubby, with the wife, how to work all this out. Take a breath, relax, and meditate. Breathe in, breathe out. We have survived worse. I have survived worse. And you probably have too. We will survive this. We just need to take a step back and make a list of what we need to do and get it done. Figure it out. If you have to put something on a credit card, I normally don't advocate that. Put it on a card. You need to just get past this point and we'll figure it out afterwards. We'll pay these bills afterwards. But just get this done right now because time is of the essence. So I wanted to tell you those two stories. Not only that, I want you to do these things now because when the crowds hit the stores, I don't want you in the crowd with the coughing, the sneezing, the pushing, and I have one more story for you. We landed in Australia. We docked in Australia, and we're usually given a brief about where we should and shouldn't go. And there was this club that was off limits to us military. And of course, you have your, we're young, you're rebellious sailors, and they decide to, hey, this is a club we can't go into. I wonder what's there, right? So some of the guys went there, and it ended up that we lost a sailor that night that I don't remember if it was a gang or whatever, but something happened and he got stabbed a few times, and I think the guy slit his throat in the club. And so we were warned not to go, but again, these guys still went. So I'm using these stories as parallels or comparisons to the store. Don't go into the store when it's crowded. Okay, this is your safety briefing. This is your warning. Go now when you can. If you can go in the evening, go in the evening or at night when it's quieter to go get your groceries, not when it's crowded and a whole bunch of people are running around. Try to get it done that way, but you can do this. Just you have to be creative and think of different ways. If you have a freezer, do your freezer. If you don't, fit what you can in your regular refrigerator. But you can figure this out. Make sure the dogs and the cats have their food and their medicine. Make sure you have your medicine. You got to make sure of that. So it's just trying to use common sense and don't tell people what you have. I hate to say that. I was always the person that was always so prepared that everybody at work would say, "We're coming to your house," and I'd say, "No, you're not. You don't want to show up at my house. You'll be really disappointed." So get your own stuff, okay? You can't feed the world, so keep your stuff on the down low. Try to help other people that are your friends and family do the same and get prepared. But you have to take care of yourself and your household first. It's really important. Let me see if I missed any notes here because I wanted to make sure I had everything everything there. Oh, the last thing. We ended up patrolling the waters off Taiwan. This was amongst missile testing being done in the same area by the Chinese at the time, which was very dangerous. So we ended up going into basically like quiet ops. I don't remember what we called it, but it was when we had to be quiet on the ship. And it was scary times at the time. The mail stopped. We became the first American warship actually to pass through the Taiwan Strait since 1976. That's a long time. And it was scary because we stopped getting mail. Everything was different. We didn't know what was going to happen. And of course, China's doing missile testing. We're like, okay, this could go really bad. And here I am, 18 years old, caught in the middle of this stuff that I just signed up for. And I'm like, really? Are you serious? So I had to come to a point in my head where I was like, if it's my time, it's my time. I signed up for this job. I signed up for the military. So if something happens, if we got attacked, or if something happened and the ship sunk, I had to, in my head, go through all the scenarios and be okay with it because I was already on the ship. I was already in the middle of this. And so no matter what, even being a fighter, sometimes you have to just say, okay, I get it. If something's out of my control, there's nothing I can do about it. I signed up for this bad boy, and then that's just the way it has to go if that's the way it goes. If not, I'm going to fight to the end. So sometimes you have to have that mindset um, of this is just the way it is. I'm already here. We're already here, folks. We're here together in this battle with this thing. Um, we just got to make our minds up. Even though we didn't sign up for this thing, it's here and we have to figure it out. We have to deal with this, but we can do it. You can do it. If we just push the fear and the anxiety aside for a minute and just think logically and rationally, what do you have to do to make yourself feel safe? And then do it. Get it done. You can do it. If I was able to do it, then you can do it. If I can be a chameleon and change into my head and become anything I want to be, if I can survive in any situation or scenario that you put me in, even if it was death, then I would accept my fate and go with it. In this case, I know it's not that extreme. It's not that extreme. But what we're fighting against are the stores. It's the stores emptying out. Go get what you need right now. And if you can't find it, improvise. There are herbs out there that you can take as well. Don't forget to research those and look some of those up. You can do that. If you're a hunter, hey, if it ever got to that point, you got to figure it out. Get some bird seed. I'm not advocating it either, but I'm just saying if you got to eat, you got to eat. Even though I know a lot of my friends, including me, I would prefer not to hurt any animals. I'm very connected to animals and I love them very much. But if it comes down to it, and if we ever got 6 months in or something, guess what? We'll figure it out. So use common sense. I don't know what else to say other than to hold on to your peace and to encourage you. I hope listening to this, that you absorb that warrior energy, okay? This is really and truly my hope, that you absorb that survival instinct, that warrior mindset, that military mindset. Wrap your hair up, take off your nails, girl, take off your makeup, put a hat on. Let's do this. Let's just do this. You have to make yourself, um, guys, the same thing. It's the same thing. We can fight this together. I really believe that. So absorb some of that, what I'm putting out there to you guys. Absorb it. Change your mindset. Meditate. Change it. And just say, I can do this now. Walk out a completely different person. Walk out of your room after listening to this a different person. Get your mind there. And then just do it. You can do it. Anyways, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, feel free. I didn't mean to turn this into this, but with all of the phone calls, concerns, emails, I really wanted to put out there my thoughts on this and what I've done to prepare and what you can do to prepare. We can do this, guys, okay? Just take some of that with you. Take that chameleon with you and absorb it and change into it. You got this. You really do. Don't let fear and anxiety take over. You don't need that. You're much better than that. All right, guys, I'll talk to you next time, okay? There will be a next time. All right. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.